Hi, I'm Riata Scott from the IT Training Department at the University of Missouri-Columbia. I'm back today with another HTML5 and CSS how-to, creating a table-like layout using the display property in CSS. Back in the old days, designers used tables for creating web page layouts. We don't do that anymore. Well, at least you shouldn't do that anymore because we use CSS to control the layout. But if you really love the table layout, we can use the CSS display property to emulate a table layout. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. So I'll start by showing you what we have going on right here. So on this side we can see our preview here. And basically we've got a background and then this is our main area of our web page through here. So that's enclosed in a div tag. Let me see if we have it. A div tag called content, and it's given a width of 800 pixels and then a margin and so forth. So let's come down here in the HTML and see what we have going. So we have the div with the ID of content, and that starts here, and that encloses everything else, so that ends right down here. Then inside of that, right inside the div, we have the header. This is the header here with the logo in it. And then next we have a section, and the section starts here, and it contains nav. This is the nav here in that little purple area. And it contains another div ID called main cell. That's this white area here. Let's see. We'll go down a little farther. Then we have an aside. That's right here. It closes that figure. It's this little green area. And then the section closes. So the nav and this div and this aside all are inside of the one section. And then we have this footer on the bottom, which is this tan thing down here. And we haven't done much formatting in this. And actually no formatting as far as what's supposed to be happening with all of these divs and semantic HTML5 tags. And let me just explain a little bit about an HTML5 semantic tag. That would be such tags as nav, and header, so header here, nav, aside. Basically what those are just div tags with their own names. So, you know, back before we would have had a div tag for each one of these and we would have had to give it a different name, just as we've done for this main one that we called main cell, and the one that goes all the way around, which we called content. So we're just using other tags. That just means that we can create, use an element selector when we put it in the CSS. So what we want to do with this page is we'll leave the header here, but we want this navigation menu to go here on the left side of the page, and then we'll have this white area in the center, and then this image and the green background here on the right. And then the bottom will be the tan footer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now we can leave the header and the footer alone because we just want them to span across the same width as the container, right? These are the ones that we want to change. So what we're going to do is go to the section element. So let's come back up here. Here's the section element. Right now the width is 100%. So that means that it will span all the way across the 800 pixels that are allowed in the content area. So I'm going to get ahead and add something down here. I'm going to add, display, and the value for that is going to be table. I'll add a semicolon just in case we add anything else there. So that's just saying that section should be treated like a table, and that's what we want, because we want section, so that would be from the purple through the white through the green, that's all the section, to act like a table, and then these will be, it'll just be one row, and each of these will be a separate cell, so it's going to be like a 3-celled table. Okay. Now nav, it's right here. Main cell, that's div, so it's got the little pound sign there. And aside, those are the three things that we're going to turn into cells. And they don't have a width on them. So just the way these block elements work is if you don't give them a width, they're just going to take up as much space as they can in whatever container they're in, which in this case is 800 pixels. So we need to give them a smaller width so that they can form something side by side, right? So let's start with nav right here. And always remember you need a semicolon in between properties and their values. So the first thing we'll add is a width of 20%, my semicolon, and we need to give it a height so that all of these are going to be the same height, and we'll make that 400 pixels. And then we also have to do something with the display here, so we'll go display colon table hyphen cell and then my semicolon. So it's telling this to act like a table cell, which is what we want because the nav is inside of the section which is displaying as a table, right? We're going to have to do that on each of these. So let's go to main cell. I'm not going to give that one a width because it will be sandwiched in between that one, so that the nav and the aside, and it'll just take up as much space as it needs. So all I'm going to add to that one is the display table hyphen cell. Okay, and then down here for our aside, right now the only thing we have on the aside is our background color. We're going to add a width of 20%, do my semicolon, and height 400 pixels. And again, we want to display table hyphen cell and a semicolon there. All right. Now I've got it on live view. I'm using Dreamweaver here, but I'm just typing right into the code so that you don't have to use Dreamweaver to do what we've done today. So let me click in here. I don't think it'll change it. Yep, it did. It just bounced right into that. So obviously, you know, this is not the most beautiful design you've ever seen. We still need to, I like to make some rounded corners, add some padding. I'd need to change these, which were a horizontal navigation, so they were going straight across. I'll need to do something there to change that the navigation, add some padding, margins, things like that. But for the most part, this basically looks exactly what it would have looked like if we had created this as a table. It would have been this area, the whole area would have been a table. We would have had a row here that spanned 3 cells, then we would have had 3 cells here, and then we would have had the footer would be the last row also spanning 3 cells. So if you like this very simple way to lay something out, it's really pretty much easier than worrying about floats and all of that kind of stuff. So if you just need a simple website, this is a good way to go. Thank you for watching this video. The IT Training Department conducts a series of HTML5 and CSS classes throughout the semester, as well as classes for the Adobe and Microsoft titles shown here. Classes are free for students, staff, and faculty, so log into training.missouri.edu and sign up today.